The film begins with a group of high school students on a trip to a train station. The tour is being conducted by conductor Kazuya Takahashi. He enthusiastically explains the students' bullet train mechanics and the engineering processes required to run these trains. At the end of the tour, some students ask him, "Why did you choose to be a train conductor instead of a train pilot?" Takahashi smiles and replies, "I love meeting everyone's needs and gathering passengers. That's why I'm so passionate about my work." The Hayabusa 60 train arrives at the platform. A group of high school students on an educational trip is also about to board. All of them are extremely excited, but one of them, Yuzuki, seems the least excited. In the business compartment, we see a politician, an Uber driver, and a prominent businessman who are hiding their identities and heading to Tokyo, and the train leaves the station. Everything is going as usual, but suddenly the control center is thrown into an emergency. A call comes in from an unknown person, claiming that bombs are planted on the HIB 60 train, the Daibakuha train. The man had stated that the bombs would explode if the train's speed dropped below 100 kilometers per hour. At first, the threat was not taken seriously. But then, shortly after, the control center receives news that the cargo train had exploded, exactly as the man had explained. The explosion would occur if the speed decreased. The man calls again and explains that it was a demo to convince everyone. This threat shakes everyone. The terrorist's demands are also revealed. He wants 100 billion yuan deposited into his account. Only then will he defuse the bombs. But the government clearly states that they will not listen to this terrorist, as Japan's policy is to never negotiate with terrorists or meet their demands. As news spreads across the city and the country, widespread panic ensues, with the families of thousands of people traveling on the train deeply distressed. Panic also spreads among those in real trouble. Meanwhile, an Uber passenger on the train uses his social media platform to create an online portal where people can make donations and collect the terrorist's requested amount, as the government had refused to pay him anything. Amazingly, people across Japan donate and money begins pouring in. He constantly shares screenshots of each donation and his account balance on his account. Meanwhile, everyone on the train was discussing who might have planted the bomb. Everyone assumed one of the bombers was definitely on board, and suspicion fell on a man wearing a mask, who was calmly eating his lunch while everyone was panicking. Here we learn about his past. He owned an aircraft repair company. Some time ago, his company repaired a helicopter. However, due to a single person's negligence, the helicopter was unable to be repaired. Many students were traveling in the helicopter, and it crashed. This resulted in significant losses for him and his company, and since then people have grown to hate him. When people recognize him, they become even more angry. Got already troubled, falls into depression. However, a politician sitting next to him, who is also embroiled in numerous scandals, offers him support, saves his life, and tells him that scandals are eventually forgotten. During all this panic, a girl arrives. Yuzuki, the same student who seemed so strange from the beginning of the movie. It turns out that the one planting the bombs was none other than Yuzuki herself. Yes, a schoolgirl had planned such a big scheme, and that too just to take revenge on her father. Yuzuki's father was a retired police officer and an abusive father, meaning he did not treat Yuzuki well. He had habits like beating her and abusing her. He tortured her a lot and even taunted her for being a girl. After Yuzuki's mother's death, she became completely alone. She hated when her father told her stories of his false bravery. She knew that her father had acquired a false hero image. It was after the 1975 train bombings. A similar case of a bullet train explosion had come to light in 1975. Many people were killed on that train, and when the police tracked down the perpetrator, he blew himself up. The government didn't want to show its citizens that they had failed to catch the terrorist. So they spread the false news that Yuzuki's father had killed him. Yuzuki's father was then made a hero. Everyone praised him. But Yuzuki knew the truth and wanted to expose it. While her father was considered a hero by the whole world, she wanted to show everyone what kind of person she really was. She wanted to avenge her father's every bad behavior. That's why she devised such a grand plan and went to meet the son of the man who had killed himself and planted the bombs on the trains in the first place. The man also wanted to avenge his father's death against the government. That's why he joined the plan, made these bombs, and planted them all over the train. Yuzuki tells the passengers, "I'm giving you a choice. One of you can get up and kill me. All these bombs are attached to the pacemaker in my heart. As soon as I die, these bombs will automatically defused." Hearing her story, Takayachi is deeply impressed. He moves towards her. Despite her insistence, instead of killing her, he embraces her. The rescue operation begins. The authorities decide to first shift the passengers to the compartment that doesn't have a bomb. After enough people have entered that compartment, it is detached from the moving train. But many lives are still in danger. To save everyone else, a man in the control room hatches a plan. They will run a new train parallel to the HAPSA 60 train, transferring people from the HAPSA 60 to another train. A new train, the HAPSA 63, approaches. Both trains maintain the same speed. A bridge is built between them, and passengers one by one, trembling with trembling steps, transfer to the other train. But 9 passengers were still trapped inside the train. The train was moving at lightning speed toward Tokyo, and Tokyo Station was closed that day due to construction. Time was running short. If the train had slowed down, they would have died. If they had stopped at Tokyo Station, even more people would have died and the entire Tokyo Station would have been destroyed. To make matters even worse, another train was also approaching. Kasaki, who had planned to save so many people, realizes that not only the people on the Hayabusa 60 train but also those on the other train are now in danger. Before the two trains collide, Kasaki changes the junction in time and moves the train to another line. This averts a major danger, but the lives of the 9 people inside the Hayabusa 60 are still in danger. Kasaki then makes a powerful move. They first detach the part of the train that was suspected to be carrying a bomb, and then as the train progresses, they also detach the compartment containing the people from the train and at the same time switch the tracks. The engine of the train starts running on a different track, while the compartment containing the people remains on the same track. The lives of all the passengers in the train compartment were out of danger as the train slowed to a halt, eventually slowing to a halt, and everyone was rescued. On the other side, upon reaching an empty space, the train's speed was reduced by the control room, and it exploded. It exploded under the impact of the bomb. However, no one was killed in this massive explosion. Just then, the police arrived, seeking to apprehend Yuzuki. They questioned her, asking if she felt any guilt or would like to defend herself. Yuzuki didn't say anything, but instead extended her trembling hands to be handcuffed. The assistant conductor of the dacoit, who was injured in the panic, was taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, Takaichi and Uber emerged as heroes. The way they handled the situation truly made them heroes. Ultimately, everyone's life is saved and the movie ends here.